Hello, welcome to Get Your Mind On. I'm Lori Stohs. As we continue in our Get Your Mind Off series, we're speaking about our senses. And last week we talked about sights and sounds, and hopefully you took some time to reconnect to your senses. So today we're going to talk about two more senses that we need to really set back and get your mind off to experience: taste and smell. So we think about taste. You know, tasting and smelling are two really critical senses that are really connected. And I had the experience a few years ago of losing both of taste and smell. And boy, you know, you don't have really an understanding of it until you can't taste anymore, you can't smell. And when you think about it, there's just a whole piece of life that you kind of miss out on when you think about smelling things and tasting things. So it really brought me a new appreciation of taste and smell. So, you know, our lives are so busy and we're rushing around, and really when we think about our food is such an important part of our life. But do we really take the time to sit down and really enjoy what we eat? Food is designed for the energy of our bodies. And really when we step back and take the time to stop and just taste the food, how many of you have done that lately? Many times when we're in the car rushing around, maybe eating while we're driving, while we're talking on the phone, multitasking, we have no idea what that food tasted like. In 3 minutes or less, it's gone. Okay. Then he said, "What did I just eat?" I don't even know. So really stepping back and making your food a great experience for you, and really taking the time to savor those bites and to taste the texture. You know, we think about foods, you know, some of us have like that salty part of our tongue, and some of us are more about the sweet. Some of us love the crunchy and some of us love the smooth. So really tasting is an experience. When you think about all those different types of things, it's not just the flavor, which the flavor is good, right? Tasting the spices or tasting the sweet, it's texture also. So how many times have you sat back and really said, gosh, what was the texture of that? And when I'm hungry for something, am I hungry for something salty or sweet? You know, sometimes our brain naturally tells us that. So what a perfect time of year when we think about taste and we think about all the foods around us that we're tempted by at this time of year, with those great desserts and cookies and maybe those salty appetizers that people make and bring to the office that we can experience, and the crunch of the, you know, those appetizer snacks that we might experience. So that taste is such an important part of our senses. And really when we then think about the smell, you know, smell sometimes leads us to tasting. Many of our companies have experiences that they build for all of us. When you're in a mall and all of a sudden you start smelling something. You know, one is for me is the cinnamon rolls. And I smell the cinnamon rolls when I'm in the airport. I smell the cinnamon rolls when I'm in the mall. And scents sometimes bring back great memories for us. And for me, when I smell cinnamon rolls, I instantly think of my mom, because she made great cinnamon rolls. And I knew the minute I came home from college or when I came home on a weekend to visit, she always made cinnamon rolls. So that was like a welcoming smell to me. It was a comfort smell. And so when we think about that, you know, many companies do that to kind of pull us in. And there are some great triggers, you know, to our emotions with scent. And you also think about scent with certain objects. You know, when you have kids, sometimes they want that blanket or that favorite toy, and sometimes it's about the scent of it. Or, you know, when people have had losses, sometimes they like to know that they can have something that a scent of that person was on. So scent really is connecting to the emotional level of individuals. And when we think about our scents around at this time of the year, there's so much great things that we can smell. The evergreen tree from the Christmas trees, the smell of the cookies baking, you know, the smell of candles burning. There's lots of fire, the fires, you know, crackling that burnt firewood. So there's many, many smells, but how many of them are you experiencing because you're stepping back from the busyness of everything around you and experiencing it? So for this week, for Get Your Mind On, I really want you to think about two things. Again, taste, taking some time to savor and take time to be mindful on what you're eating. And number two is smelling. What are those smells that grab your attention? Capture those smells and think about the sensation and the emotion that they bring to you. Tasting and smelling are two important senses that we have readily available to us every day. Many times we don't even recognize because we're so used to them being around. So take some time this week to really experience the tastes and the smells around you. Thanks for joining us today, and remember to get your mind off.